Let's go. Awesome. Okay, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I told you guys I'd be back, and we are back. Obviously, this is going to be the second video, second day. We haven't done that for 3 years, since 2018. Okay, but we are back, and especially for a conversation like this where the world needs us, we are back to talk about arguably the craziest transfer news story and arguably all of soccer. Okay, the greatest playmaker of all time. People like to say this guy's the second best or the best player of all time. Obviously, we do not do that here, but nonetheless, we are going to talk about it. We are going to try to explain it to the best of our abilities here. Obviously, I have my close friend Nicholas Siri on the line as well to help me explain to you guys what's going on. If you guys don't know what we're talking about already, it's basically that Lionel Messi, has now or is not going to be playing for Barcelona going forward. Supposedly, okay, and we'll get there why I say that. So we're just gonna go over some of the theories and basically just explain everything that's basically happened with Barcelona, especially a little bit from last year as well to this year. Like I said, I do have Nick Siri on the line, and he's actually going to be the one who's going to be doing all the explaining and breaking it down for you guys.
Yeah, I got a bunch of tweets lined up for kind of like a little timeline so we can keep everyone up to date. Obviously, the news broke yesterday, and we're making a video the day after because usually during the first day there's a lot of speculation, a lot of theories, a lot of bullshit that goes on that people just a lot of different sources trying to break the story, break a news story. You know what I mean?
It's a bunch of lies.
A bunch of lies, a bunch of people trying to add credibility to their name. So you wait the next day. Obviously, if you guys aren't fully up to date, the Barcelona president, Joan Laporta, like the pronunciation, he came.
I really
You do like
do,
that? He came out with an interview today at noon in Spain, basically explaining the situation for us, so we got a better and more clear understanding of what's going on. Like I said, there's a lot of speculation of what's actually going to happen, what the reasoning is. So I'm going to try to break that down for you guys quickly. I don't want to take too much time doing this. Here, Alex, so you can see as well. Okay, so starting off, so this is basically where it all began. Okay, so obviously you guys are aware of the Super League. Now, there's only 3 teams remaining in the Super League officially, which is Real Madrid, Juventus, and Barcelona. Okay, now a company called CVC Capital Partners wants to invest $3 billion for a 10% stake in La Liga. Okay, now this is obviously a big deal because Barcelona is still in the Super League and they still want to do things their way. Same with Juventus and Real Madrid. Now, keeping that in mind, yesterday, Fabrizio Romano tweets a pretty regular tweet, just an update saying basically Lionel Messi, before the Gamper Trophy, which is the friendly against Juventus on Sunday, he's going to sign his contract. It's been ready for a few days. Some new issues have arrived, obviously because of this CVC investment, but the Barcelona team and Messi's team are going to work it out. So you think, okay. Then 20 minutes later, he tweets this, where he says, official, Lionel Messi will not continue at Barcelona. And for a few minutes, everyone's like, okay, we're not sure what this means. But then 2 minutes later, Barcelona's official Twitter tweets, latest news, Leo hashtag Messi will not continue with FC Barcelona. Now, when this first broke, like I said, a lot of speculation, a lot of different theories. A lot of people first thought that this was La Liga's way of getting themselves into a Barcelona's way of getting themselves into a power position, putting pressure on La Liga, because La Liga is enforcing these strict financial restraints on a lot of clubs in the league, kind of like a salary cap essentially. And basically, with the new salary cap, they're not able to re-sign Messi because they can't afford it within the salary cap. They go way over budget. I believe they go over like 150% of the budget with Messi on their team.
And supposedly, okay, and then again, this is from basically like I guess you can say like the Barcelona social media side, right? Like the people who follow Barcelona and their Twitter and such. Basically, they said that players like obviously like Sergio Roberto and Titi, they refused to leave, right? And then that's what also stopped basically Messi from being signed because like we said, there's like a salary cap problem.
Too many players, Coutinho, Dembele. All these
Yeah, so
guys,
there's two
Griezmann,
players that they have, and they're
Depay.
saying, obviously two names in particular. Sergio Roberto was like listed as somebody who like refused to leave or didn't want to go anywhere, and like obviously he stopped that. Because as we do know, like something that came out in July here, just right before you go back to explaining, July
Hmm.
15th, 2021, like around there. Basically, Messi agrees to do a contract extension, right, with a 50% pay cut.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
so which is
exactly.
huge, which is
Yes.
huge. But yeah, that those are just I just want to bring up those two names of people that I saw were basically listed, and some of the people who didn't want to leave, which I
Yes, exactly
basically I
that.
guess ended up stopping Messi.
That's a good point too. I was going to bring that up because at this point we know that Messi already agreed that he'll take a 50% pay cut, and I believe there was rumors of a contract where he'd sign a contract for 5 years, but he'd only actually be paid for 2 years because he just wanted to stay at the club. So like we know that Barca wants to keep him and he wants to stay. So when we see this, a lot of rumors, and even me myself, I was thinking, okay, I will not believe that Messi's leaving this club until we see him holding a PSG jersey, like we saw Ramos holding a PSG jersey, or whatever club. So, like I said, I'm now assuming, okay, maybe this is a power play. They're trying to put pressure on the Liga. We continue. Uh, this is when Fabrizio tweets now today from Laporta's interview. He says, our financial numbers and losses are worse than expected. Our salary mass is not leaving any margin. Financial fair play is also blocking us. I can't make a decision that could destroy the club. Barca are the more important thing. So essentially what he's saying is he can't choose the player over the team, right? He has to make sure that the club is in a good financial position to be successful and sustainable and all that. So that's one of the things he said. Another thing he said was, we've shaken our hands with Lionel Messi. The contract was done. 2 years salary, but paid until 2026. It was 100% agreed, and we had to sign yesterday. But then La Liga rules and reality came. I told George Messi, which is Messi's agent and father, a cold shower. Now, basically, this, like I said, now I'm still thinking, okay, maybe. This is from the interview earlier this morning, by the way. So we've had a lot of time, almost 12 hours to go between that and this time
Mm-hmm.
now, from what we know. So,
And I know you were bringing up
go ahead.
before, basically league of the club, right? Like you were saying. So again, something that came out is that they have like $487 million in debt.
Yes.
I think it was like something like that. So that's pretty insane as well.
Yeah, the club is a really bad state as is anyway, without
Yeah.
this situation going on. So, like we said, 100% agreed. All this. Now we move on to another thing that he said. He spoke with Messi's father and Leo in the last hours. There's no chance to continue together. We can't go through because of the financial regulations. Very sad, but that's it. New era. And then here we see Barca expect losses of 487 million from last season. That's losses. That's not even
Yeah.
what they're in debt, what they owe. That's just like what they've
Oh yeah.
lost from last season. So
Yeah.
again, right? Like it just kind of spirals out. Now, I'm still thinking because you see how Laporta mentions La Liga like almost every time he talks about how like their
Never
financial
mentions
regulations.
Barcelona.
Yeah, he always talks
Never
about their
mentions Barcelona.
regulations, this and that, and it's their fault that they can't re-sign Messi, which again is leading me to believe, okay, they're trying to put pressure on La Liga to loosen their grip and allow them to basically re-sign Messi. So we continue now. At this point, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if he's going to leave, if he's going to stay. I see this tweet from Fabrizio where Pep Guardiola did an interview earlier today, and he said, we spent on Jack Grealish. He will wear the number 10. We're convinced about him. And we thought Leo would stay. Now Messi is not in our plans, which is unfortunate for them, obviously, because we know they were interested in Messi last summer when he basically said he didn't want to play in Barcelona anymore, even though he did a complete U-turn and then ended up playing. At that time, Man City was interested, and obviously we believe that they're still interested now, but they, as we all believe, that Messi would sign a new deal come the end of June. So essentially, they decided, we have to move our focus somewhere else. They've spent 100 million on Jack Grealish. Unfortunate for them. If they didn't buy Grealish, I'm almost certain that they would have went for Messi at this time. But this obviously couldn't be foreseen by anyone, not even Messi himself. So it's kind of an unfortunate circumstance for them. Now, this more recent tweet, 3:43 p.m. today, just over an hour ago. Paris Saint-Germain are close to sign Leo Messi confirmed. PSG are preparing the official contract until June 2023 to be submitted to Messi and his father in the next hours. Messi is open to join PSG. Neymar was pushing in the last 24 hours. PSG are so confident. Now again, this is at this point is where I start to believe that I think he actually may leave because remember in this whole time, I haven't seen anything that would actually suggest that he's going to leave. But then I start seeing
Mm.
these tweets. For example, Memphis Depay tweets a heart, broken heart, and then the goat. And then Ansu Fati makes a bunch of Barca players do this, as well as legends like Puyol and PK as well. But these are the ones I just grabbed from right now. But Ansu Fati obviously makes a big message saying, thank you for everything you've done for me. Same with Sergio Busquets, makes a big message, and obviously just says they all say their farewells and their goodbyes. So I don't know. At this point, I'm starting to kind of change my opinion. I think he actually might leave.
Yeah,
Like,
because
I don't
they
know.
said like by when they came to the, I guess when the decision came out that they obviously couldn't sign it, like not even the Barcelona captains knew, right?
Yeah.
So like that's obviously like why I guess everybody's caught by surprise. Again, I'm like still on the fence about it as well because even last year he was supposed to leave as well. This is like against what's happening this time around. It does seem like there's like no going back. Like obviously last year, the message that Barcelona put out wasn't this like sincere, right? And it wasn't
Hmm.
this like
Official.
basically, yeah, it wasn't this official, right? Basically them saying like, like yo, we got to wash our hands with this. We have to focus on the club now. So that's pretty like insane
Yeah,
to think about
significant.
because
Very,
now,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So now you're just thinking like at this point my thought process is not more of like is he going to stay or not because like of how far it's gone
Yeah.
because like we haven't heard anything about basically investors putting anything basically raising their investment. I know the league's like starting relatively pretty soon, but at the end of the day I'm not going to believe it until basically I see him in a different jersey. I don't care even if I see him like in Paris with the president and PSG you know president holding hands until I see him in the jersey.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm not going to believe that he's playing for anybody else.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty much with you too on that. Like, I'm now starting to understand where the story's going, and I can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel, if you will, like of him leaving. But I'm the same way. I just feel like these guys will bend over backwards and do anything they can to keep him at the club. So I'm sure, like, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some crazy like revelation, like, oh, we did this wrong, and he can actually stay, and then he ends up staying. But I don't know, like, if there's
I mean, it
anywhere for
is
him to
horrible for La Liga
it's
too.
terrible,
It's
yeah.
absolutely
It's the
horrible
worst
for
thing
La
that could
Liga.
happen to them. Like you got to think about it. Like the league has already been on a decline the past few years, anyways. And like you look at it now, it's like without their poster boy, like he's leaving. Like that's literally the worst thing that could happen. But if you look at potential clubs he could go to, right? You'd think City, but obviously they just signed Grealish, so it doesn't make sense. And 100 mil doesn't make sense for them.
Mm-hmm.
The only real option for him is PSG. But you got to think him there with Neymar and Mbappe, Mauro Icardi, and then they just signed Wijnaldum, they just signed Donnarumma, they just signed Hakimi, they just signed
Yeah,
everyone, Ramos, everyone under the sun.
yeah.
There's financial fair play regulations for them too. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure. I'm not convinced that he'll go there unless someone leaves. Like if Mbappe gets sold to Real Madrid, for example, then maybe he'll go.
Which is the only like possible scenario. Like
Exactly.
there is no way that League On lets him basically go there with all these players, and like if they do, there's no possible way that they can legally afford him there,
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense
right?
too.
Like
Like,
it's just like unreal. What I could potentially see, and which is why I don't think it'd be worth people like PSG like making these type of purchases, right? Because like obviously you have to sell Mbappe for him to be there. I can honestly see because basically from what we know right now is that it's not like Messi will never be able to sign for Barcelona again. So like again, signing for like a 1 year contract, playing in another league for another team, and then coming back. Obviously, it's again this for me myself. I know we said we don't do this here, but obviously this is the second best player in history. Okay, arguably the greatest playmaker of all time. Like this guy wants to play soccer,
mm,
right? He wants to play
he
football.
wants to
So,
win.
uh, yeah, at the end of the day, it's not like he's going to retire for 1 year and then not, play for a team. So again, from what I see it, PSG is definitely the one winning the race here because at the end of the day, which team really does have enough money to spend on these players? Like obviously Manchester United, we already signed two people. We're obviously not looking for a right winger. At the end of the day, it's Messi though. Like why wouldn't you want this person to play your club? But I mean, like obviously, like we said, Juve definitely doesn't have obviously the money to pay for him. People like Bayern, again, who's a really sneaky pick. Like not a lot of people talk about them, but they are one of the biggest clubs in the world. They do have money, but are they going to be really going for Messi, right, to play on their team? So yeah, not basically the only people who can sign this, in my opinion, is PSG, and again, that's if with Mbappe leaving as well. I just
Yeah.
can't see him, all working there.
Yeah, to me, it doesn't make any sense if he goes there with Mbappe, Neymar, Di Maria, Icardi, like, because then there's no, even you look at it on paper and you think, wow, Neymar, uh, Mbappe, and Messi on the same team in the same front three, that's so good. But I don't know. In my opinion, I feel like that's horrible. Like, I think that Mbappe and Neymar, even as a duo, isn't that good. I feel like they're too similar, and they don't offer what the other person is like lacking in. So I feel like they don't complement each other very well at all. I mean, they're still like, obviously great players, but I just don't know if even adding Messi to that is gonna make any real difference. Like, I feel like they already have that type of player in Di Maria, in Mbappe as well. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, even in Wijnaldum, who can play as an attacking mid, I just don't really see how him going there would even work, like, logistically on the field. Like, how do you make tactics around those three up front? Because they're not coming back to support the defense and do all this extra running off the ball and pressing and stuff like that. Like, everyone's seen the
Yeah,
clips of Messi walking next to a guy, the center back with the ball at half. You know what I mean? Like, He's
yeah,
not. He's not the kind of guy. Even Ronaldo's the same way. They're not the kind of guys like who are gonna run around, chase you down, and press you like how the Bayern team presses, for example, with Muller. Like, he'll just chase anyone down like he's a rabid dog. You know what I mean? They're not like that.
yeah,
All three of them aren't like that. They're all very, especially Mbappe's very arrogant. You know what I mean? So is Neymar, and then Messi. We've seen it. Like I said, him walking around. Like, I just don't see them actually fitting into a system that's gonna be successful as is. So I don't know why these teams, aside from PR, because you got to remember, PSG is owned by like a Qatari like oil company or whatever. The World Cup in Qatar, you know what I mean? Like, it's really good for them, like easy advertising. It's just a huge PR move for them to get Messi, which is, I think, would be worth it, even if the club doesn't, because they're still gonna win Liga, obviously. So even if they don't do that well in the Champions League, maybe they get knocked out round of 16. First good team they play, maybe they get bounced. If the tactics don't work, but it's still a big win for the club anyways. Like, if Juve gets Ronaldo and we get relegated, it's still a huge win for Juve. You know what I mean? Like, imagine all the PR, all the followers, all the attention the club gets. It's the same thing for PSG. So I don't know. I just, like I said, on the field doesn't make sense to me, but off the field, like, it makes sense for everyone, every single club.
no, for sure. And at the end of the day, again, as shameless as it is to say, like adding Messi to your team, you're obviously looking to get more goals and obviously more fans and stuff like that. People are gonna want to come here and watch Messi play and watch your games and stuff like that. As like if you're looking at the football side and from being a winner and somebody wants to win, adding Messi to your team unfortunately is not going to help you win these like huge trophies, right? Like uh, at the end of the day, like he has played on some of the best teams of all time, which led to these major trophies. But besides those years, right, and those teams that he had, like adding. The one thing PSG has to worry about right now is, especially under Pochettino, because he obviously hasn't won anything, right? And he's been losing more, right? With especially the players that he has. The one thing they have to worry about is winning, right? Like especially you're such a huge club, and unfortunately you're in such a small league. You have no excuse not to be winning, and especially spending all this money and not winning major tournaments like obviously the Champions League, right? So again, adding Messi on there from a football point of view, like, is he is he going to be the piece of the puzzle to have bring that home, that trophy, right? And again, all the other tournaments. Obviously, adding Messi to your league, they do look like favorites. They are favorites every year. It's surprising when they do lose. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, if I was a PSG fan, right, the one thing I want to be worried about is winning. And again, like you said, like good players fit any system, but this exact system here, again, it can fit it, it can win them games, but is it going to bring home the Champions League, which is arguably the hardest tournament in all of football. So looking at it from that point of view, again, PR looks great. Any team who does sign Messi, it's an absolute huge win. But again, are adding Messi to your team, are you going to be winning games, right? And unfortunately, from what I think, I don't think he's going to be a good fit for any Premier League side as well. Obviously, people disagree with that. Again, City obviously wanted him, but I think the the people who are going to get him if he does go to a different team is PSG. It's just basically how good he's going to do there.
That's a good question. Leave for the comments. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think that anybody who does agree or disagree, obviously let us know. But at the end of the day, only time will tell where this guy goes, right?
Couldn't have said it better myself, man.
So awesome. But yeah, definitely let us know down in the comments below what you guys think. Again, this was just an emergency video getting put up, and all the other clips from the podcast will be released onto the YouTube, so that you can watch each individual take.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for having me, by the way.
No, thank you for coming on, Nick.
Next time.